roasted. Today, we have a teardown of a compressor which met a terrible fate after only 2 years of service on a small walk-in cooler at a restaurant. Compressors should not, typically, run hot enough to fry eggs. Here's a close-up of the info sticker, and you can see just how hot it got from the yellowing of the label and the faded paint. It was a properly sized, drop-in replacement for the previous compressor, which had locked up but did not burn out after over a decade of service. First, let's get some of the oil poured out into a bucket so I don't make as much of a mess. Huh. Where's all the oil? That's never a good sign. Moving on, let's get it open. Most people use cutoff wheels, but given this thing shot sparks at me off camera, I think it just became a candidate for a future teardown itself. Sawzall time. Remember to wear your PPE. Let's take a closer look. Good thing I'm outdoors, and good thing you're not watching this on smell-o-vision, because there's a very distinct odor here. If you know, you know. A quick wipe to get some of the slime off. Everything's coated in burnt oil. Discharge line goes down to exit in the lower half of the shell, so I have to chop it off to get the guts out. Here we go. Huh. Feels a bit crunchier than normal. Oh. Well then, that's not supposed to look like that. How about the oil? Ugh. Dark, stinky, and a lot is missing. That is not 15 ounces. Literal meltdown happened in here. This mess is a suction muffler / liquid separator, and it's supposed to be clipped to the valve assembly, instead of modern sculpture in the bottom of the compressor shell. It's barely recognizable. Even the insulation of the wire harness has been baked until it's crumbling. Surprising, nothing shorted out. Here's the clip where the suction muffler should have been before it liquefied. Looking closer at the suction inlets, there's a ton of burnt residue. Time to take the head off. Those are T30 Torx bolts, and they're way looser than expected. Probably could have gotten them with a screwdriver. Extreme thermal cycles can do that. Taking the top off, and it's not looking any prettier in there. Suction valves are in the middle, and discharge valves above and below. Hot discharge gas flows around the chamber to the 2 ports at the bottom. The gasket looks rough, and I don't think those gaps are supposed to be there. Apologies for the shake, a big rig jiggled the camera. The second gasket was intact, but had gotten so hot that it cracked when I pried the valve plate off. The compressor was still running when it was taken out of service, and it turns freely by hand. Given these bits a quick wipe, prolonged heat and broken down oil has discolored everything. Definitely some copper plating and scuffs on the cylinder wall from lack of lubrication. Up top is a bypass valve, gunked and discolored, but I don't believe it was involved with a failure. What did catch my eye was this divot and stain pattern on the suction valve. On the valve seat, there's a matching crack. This may be the initial failure. If that valve wasn't able to seal, some of the hot discharge gas would leak back every cycle. This caused rapid overheating of the valve area and a cascade of failure. Overheated springs lost temper, and carbon fouled the seats, so valve sealing deteriorated. That blown-out gasket also let discharge gas leak back, accelerating the problem. The suction line would go from cool to blazing hot in seconds when the compressor shut down from all of the hot gas leaking back. The overload protector saw reduced current, so the compressor rarely, if ever, tripped out, and instead kept running and burning. Long term, I think it would either have seized from lack of lubrication, or shorted out when the roasted insulation broke down. This was certainly an experience, and I plan to take apart more compressors in the future. If I find one that's shorted, and one that's mechanically seized up, I'll see what those failure modes look like. Thanks for watching. Until next time, friends.